film Saving Private Ryan and depicts the start of the invasion of Normandy, known as D-Day and codenamed Operation Overlord. D-Day, being one of the most infamous and influential battles in all World War II, started on June 6, 1944 on Normandy Beach in France, by mostly a combination of US, British, and Canadian troops. The invasion was initially planned on the day before, but was postponed due to weather.
As you can see here, we have the D-Day invasion on June 6, 1944. Here we have the United States' 2 fleets, Great Britain's 2 fleets, and Canada's fleet invading the beach of Normandy. We have the Utah site, the Omaha site, the Gold site, the Juno site, and the Sword site all being invaded.
During the invasion, 156,000 American, British, and Canadian forces landed on 5 beaches along a 50-mile stretch of the heavily fortified coast of France's Normandy region. These soldiers were sent onto the beach through landing boats. Those boats dropped the front to let the soldiers onto the beach once on land. Many soldiers were shot as soon as those doors dropped. Then the soldiers would have to run through heavy gunfire and minefields just to climb a cliff. Many soldiers died that day, approximately 4,413 Americans and 4,000 to 9,000 Germans. This is shown in the quote from an American veteran that went through D-Day. Many soldiers were shot exiting the landing craft. Some drowned in the waters of the bay and sea, weighted down by their own equipment. On the beach, the soldiers crossed open sand with ridges and water-filled furrows exposed to gunfire. They had to maneuver on man-made seawalls covered in razor wire, mines that were buried in the sand, ready to be detonated with one false step, and finally they scaled cliffs 170 feet high. U.S. forces faced heavy resistance, especially at Omaha Beach, where over 2,000 American casualties alone. By the day's end, approximately 156,000 Allied troops have successfully stormed Normandy's beaches. According to some estimates, more than 4,000 Allied troops lost their lives in the D-Day invasion, with thousands more wounded or missing.
In this picture, you can see the chaos that occurred during D-Day. You can see the ships that are unloading the units, or the troops. You can see the blimps going over. You can see the tanks going, and just the amount of chaos and bloodshed that would come. This picture is very powerful to the significance and the horrors of D-Day. You can visually see how young some of the soldiers are, and the thought that a few maybe hours or minutes after these pictures were taken, they might have died. And these kids were the same age as some of us, maybe 17, 16, 18, and they were sent off to a war that unknowingly they would never come home from. The D-Day events took the lives of many, many young soldiers, and it was horrific to see, especially in the horrible ways they died, being shot at on the beach, coming off the boats, and being surrounded by their fellow soldiers dying as well.
While the invasion of Normandy was deadly, it had a major impact in the war and was a turning point. Almost immediately after D-Day, France was freed from Nazi control. This stopped the Axis powers from sending troops to France and stopping Hitler from taking troops away from France to prepare for the Soviet Union. This was the start of pushing back the front line and created a pinching maneuver between the Allies and the Soviet Union that would eventually lead to Hitler's defeat. This was also a massive psychological blow to the Germans, who were winning most of their battles up until this point, and destroyed their morale.
In this newspaper, published soon after D-Day, we can see the nationalism from the US and Britain. This was published by Springfield Daily News, and it refers to the invasion of Normandy as the Great Invasion. They say that tremendous forces land in France, and that the invasion army is to liberate Europe. This helps give hope to the Allies, which will use this hope to help to liberate the armies and just give more influence into the war, as D-Day was a turning point for the Allies in the war that led to their eventual victory.